I'm indeed delighted to be with you this evening. A few hours ago, as I was driving from Ganyesa to Johannesburg, I got lost and found myself with a GPS heading towards Witbank. Fortunately, someone advised me on my mobile that I should take the left to Germiston and I might make it here. And I'm very happy that we didn't follow the GPS and landed here. Tonight, we celebrate the outstanding achievements and contributions of South African scientists and researchers. And living in South Africa today, it's such a great pleasure to celebrate. And it's so wonderful to be with the family of scientists, engineers, and technologists who make such a difference in our lives every day. I would like to take this opportunity to pay particular tribute to the NSTF. It is indeed an achievement to have both sustained and expanded these awards over 13 years. Just in case you're not familiar with the awards, maybe it's your first time here, let me remind you what the objectives of the awards are. Firstly, they seek to promote excellence in the South African research and development community. They seek to celebrate scientific research that is innovative and relevant to both our country and the rest of the world. They seek to raise awareness in the general public about the work we're doing, which is both local and global in the research community in South Africa. I'm very happy to see that this year we are joined in these awards by a really brilliant sponsor, BHP Billiton. We're really excited about that partnership. It's a welcome development. We're pleased that we have such a strong South African industrial company joining us. It's added weight, I believe, to the awards to have BHP Billiton as a main co-branding sponsor. Of course, I don't in any way undermine all the other sponsors that make a contribution, but we all know BHP Billiton is a global powerhouse, so we are excited to be with it. I'm told that over the past 5 years, 46 individuals and 16 organizations were given awards. 1 in 3 of the awardees was a woman, while 2 in 3 were black persons. Now, while I agree with Dr. Rampele about we shouldn't always be saying first this, first that, but being a historian and not a scientist, I think the firsts have a place in us identifying and understanding where we are, where we come from, and where we must go. So I do think firsts are important. I think she certainly has done a great deal in our country, and we must recognize her pioneering role. We, as the DST, are in the process of developing what we think will be a very important strategy, one focusing on what we call transformation and equity, aimed at fostering race, gender, and disability diversity in science, engineering, and technology programs. I have been meeting with many, many women scientists across a range of disciplines, and even evidence that we have before us does indicate while there is progress, there is merit in looking at what further steps we should take to support women and black scientists in order to support them to achieve at the highest level. And always our focus will not be color, will not be gender, it will be excellence, but we will have a particular focus on advancing in these particular categories because it is important. I've been talking in the past 2 years of my holding this office about what I observe as somewhat a bit of fragmentation in the science, engineering, and technology awards rubric that we have in South Africa. We are now looking at how we can develop a much more synthesized and coherent set of awards which will allow us to treat the SET community as a coherent, integrated community. So I hope we will be able to have an awards that bring us all together. We should always remember that our science mission is one that is life-altering in character, that we seek to change our society, but also that we have a mandate to see in what way what we do in our laboratories, in our science councils, can support us in creating greater economic wealth for our country, in creating greater entrepreneurship and employment opportunity, and in assisting us to eradicate poverty. In my visit this morning in a very rural part of the Northwest, where I drove from with that GPS that got me lost, we were discussing issues of poverty, the demand of a community for water. And when I was asking the officials that were with me why this community cannot have a regular source of water, part of their explanation was while there is a great deal of water underground, it is somewhat contaminated, and thus they don't think they can utilize it. I began to ask them, have you approached the Water Institute at the University of Stellenbosch, which has developed a very innovative way of purifying contaminated water? Have you spoken to the CSIR? And it was interesting how little and tenuous a link there is between science and society. And this is something that we have to attend to, because we cannot have a situation in which people do not see that science has the solutions to the problems of poverty that we confront in South Africa and Africa today. I believe that our success in achieving all the ambitions we have in wealth creation, job creation, greater business formation, addressing poverty, that this success hinges largely on our ability to develop new products, as Dr. Rampile was describing, new technologies, new services, through enhanced research and innovation. Another problem we were dealing with, which the community had drawn to my attention, was the lack of access to energy. Now, I know there are colleagues here from Eskom Innovation, but I told that community, let's not go and protest outside the offices of Eskom. Let's get a small solar plant here. Let's use science and find solutions that are renewable, that are eco-friendly, that address the local problems that our communities confront. I believe we can only solve many of these challenges in our society if we look in a more positive fashion toward our scientists and researchers and support them through providing quality infrastructure that will allow them to develop state-of-the-art solutions to our country.